Once again, my name is Daniel Daze. Let's take our first story now. We'll be taking you to Amasaman, where the deplorable nature of roads there, that community in the Gan West district, is taking a heavy toll on development in the community, with drivers being the most affected. The irony here is how drivers painfully ply the only access road in the town, only to break down at the offices of the DVLA in a bid to renew their roadworthy certificates. JoyNews' Ernest Menu visited the town and has come through with this report for today's edition of JoyNews Agenda.
It is very disheartening to travel on roads that are deplorable and replete with a menace called potholes, not just because of the unprecedented accidents, but also because of the damages on vehicles and the adverse health implication. The story here at Amasaman perhaps paints a national picture.
We are pleading with the government to fix the roads for us. It's affecting business here.
Amasaman is one of the fastest growing communities in the Gan West municipality, with a population of about 300,000. There are new settlements with many people, especially the middle class, relocating from Accra into these areas. Economic activity is also growing steadily, but the single most important thing militating against development here is the poor road network.
Oh, but so ekwani de high baby because said ya eswayem omo fasuko ejuma painful nkre fasuko school so tra.
We are really affected by the poor nature of the roads. The working class, school children and pregnant women. Imagine what a pregnant woman will go through if she's in labor.
Satellite is a suburb of Amasaman, perhaps with the most deplorable roads in this town. Plying them is a daily ordeal, especially for commercial drivers who helplessly endure the yawning potholes only to acquire or renew their driver's license and roadworthy certificates.
Because you are roadworthy. Just look at the road that leads to the DVLA, where we renew our roadworthy certificates. It is so bad.
So it's a reverse situation. Worthy vehicles but unworthy road. This has compelled drivers to charge exorbitant fares to the detriment of poor residents.
Once a passengers at car station, I can do a numera. To me, delay mobile 1 hour. Crana car be by phone. As I say car be called next junction as a bahano.
Passengers are always stuck at the station because drivers are reluctant in plying the roads, especially when it rains. So some of them charge very high fares.
Na dey bia so aboso kan we ya juma 3 days no dey shop 1 week now go shop until high empire.
Actually the road is affecting a lot because look at from Damas 2 to this place, it should be take you not less than more than 10 minutes. It will take you more than almost 30 minutes or 20 to 25 minutes for your destination. So look at from the DVLA to here. And we have a satellite, a whole satellite. The road is bad. So I'm appealing to the government. They should do something quickly about this road, because doing this rainy season it takes a long time to get to the that's make the driver also. Sometimes if you have a load, they say they don't have their boot is not opening, so because of the road. So government should do something about it.
Their woes deepen once the rains set in. We made that journey to the DVLA office here, only to find drivers with broken down vehicles.
Asphalt no so rough road.
The road is affecting our businesses and damaging our cars. Look at the condition of the road that leads to the DVLA.
Richard Ohene is a finance officer at this branch of the DVLA.
We've been here over 8 years. When we came, the road was in this very state. So we have to contact the municipal chief executive, who is at the Ghana Assembly. We have to petition him to fix the road. Over the years, we've also gone to the Roads and Highway, seen the chief director, one Mr. Dr. Dakun, who told us that before this place was fixed, the road was awarded for a contract. But ever since then, it has always been up and down, back and forth, back and forth. We have always had to ask Amasaman to once a while come into with their grader to grade the road. Our clients complain bitterly of how they drive through, as you were coming, you saw it yourself.
Do they understand that this is not your core mandate to fix the roads?
Yes, some do, some don't, because some see us as government establishment. And for that matter, we have to be able to fix the road. The impact of the road is something that really is affecting us, because whenever the road is graded, we normally see some little improvement in
terms of the numbers.
In terms of the numbers in our jobs. When it gets bad, especially in the rainy season like this, the road gets very deteriorated, and we get woefully nothing.
Everyone is affected. Parents, traders, commercial vehicle drivers. Not even school children are spared.
It's affecting us, and even if you are going to school, we will be late because the drivers can't drive fast for us to get to school early.
Do you have to wake up early sometimes?
Yes. Even I'm my final year, so if I want to get to school early, because of the road, I can't get to school early. So if there will be morning classes, by the time I will get to school, they've finished.
For JoyNews, my name is Ernest Menu. Amasaman.
Now, former Chief of Staff Nana Todaze has expressed disappointment as the leadership of President Akufo-Addo for his inability to ensure discipline within the New Patriotic Party, with particular reference to recent violence disturbances caused by the party's vigilante groups. President Akufo-Addo has come under criticism, particularly by members of the opposition, for looking on at the time the Delta Force and others perpetrated a number of violent attacks on innocent citizens. Nana Todaze made the remark while assessing the state's discipline in the country during the era former President Rawlings to the current regime, as he shared fondest memories of the founder who turns 70 years today. He spoke on the SMS on Joy FM.
It's a revolutionary period. It was a very difficult period. A lot of people did a lot of things in his name. And I remember him saying that, look, I'm not ready to die for a foolish death. Like people, some soldiers who go and misconduct themselves, and he has to take responsibility for that. He went public. And I think that for every head of state, including my very good friend, brother, current President Akufo-Addo, sorry. They should be able to say that, look, I will not accept, to be tagged with some, foolishness by some people, you understand, and put his foot down when it comes to when some of his people are doing the wrong thing. You see, I think that is what is required in terms of leadership.
But did former President Rawlings succeed at this? I mean, did he genuinely succeed?
I'm saying that I'm talking about principles and attempting to reach there. We want to be like Jesus. We may never get there, but on a daily basis, we work towards it. So we must have a principle and work towards it. I'm saying that is what the Rawlings factor is about. One thing I believe I don't think he has really changed is his commitment to a free and corrupt society. That's his principal position. You understand?
Yes.
Whether he achieved it or not is another matter. But immediately you could see that he didn't believe in multi-party democracy. For a simple reason, that he thought that multi-party democratic process breeds corruption. And he didn't stop it. I mean, the evidence is also very clear. This is the system we are operating now. This is the system we've accepted. But, is a greater challenge to corruption. To corruption today.
Indeed.
No, because of the system, the way parties are funded, the way parties are created. People expect that when you go into parliament, you must have some money. Where do you get the money from?
Good
to
question.
Look after the millions. Where do you get the money from?
Now, former Chief of Defense Staff Brigadier General Nunu Mensah says the opposition National Democratic Congress NDC and the nation Ghana needs a new person who is relatively unknown at the moment to steer its affairs. He gave examples of nations like Canada, Ireland and France who have all elected new and young persons as their leaders. He lamented how the nation has suffered under the leadership of past and present governments. The retired soldier was giving his view on who should lead the NDC as it prepares to stage a comeback in 2020. He was also speaking on the Super Morning Show with Kojo Yankson on the occasion of Rawlings' 70th birthday.
You've heard about Macron in France. Do you know him before?
Yeah, no. Came from
Ireland had a new prime minister who is half Indian. Have you heard of him before?
No.
Canada has Justin Trudeau. His father was prime minister when I was in Canada. We need to go something fresh and new, dynamic, like in Nkrumah when he came to Ghana to shake us up. We are too stale, old and stale. We need to look. Ghana is a lot of things are sinking. I've just talked to you about pregnancy. Everybody is pregnant. Population is increasing. You build a school in Sabah, they went there, so I should build a new school. And they keep on producing children. We need to have leadership that is young, dynamic. Like I go back to Nkrumah's time. When he came, he fired us up in school. Macron, he's shaking France up. We have Canada, the new president of Canada, of Ireland. Everybody heard it. Half Indian, but 37 years old.
Indeed.
Trudeau is just under 40. He wasn't even born when I was there. We are getting too stale. The country is too stale. We need fresh blood to shake us up.
That was Brigadier General Nunu Mensah there. We'll take a short break now, but still to come, the Ghana Revenue Authority is embarking on a distress action to mobilize revenue from defaulting companies. Stay tuned. Welcome back now. The Ghana Revenue Authority is embarking on a distress action to mobilize revenue from defaulting companies. 8 businesses in Ashanti region owe tax to the tune of over 11 million Ghana cedis, covering the period of 2013 to March 2017. Prince Appiah is with the task force. He joins us now. Prince, which are some of the defaulting companies?
Yeah, exactly. I should say that some of these defaulting companies are a nature company. They are an estate developing company, Submarine Engineering Limited, Mediterranean Engineering Limited, owing a of about 4 million Ghana cedis, and nature owing about 2 million Ghana cedis. I should say that.
Prince, if you can please speak up. We are finding it difficult to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
It's much better now. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that in the Ashanti region, as you rightly said, 8 companies are owing to a tune of about 11 million Ghana cedis, and some of the companies are Submarine Engineering Limited, Mediterranean Engineering Limited, companies that deal in supplies for mining companies.
Prince, we are getting some interference on your line. It's almost impossible to hear you here. You were going over some of the companies that were defaulting, but have you been able to pick any reasons for their defaults?
Yeah, some of the reasons given are that...
Can you reposition yourself? We can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there's some interference at the back, but I think we can manage.
Is it okay?
Okay, we are still on the line with Prince Appiah. We are trying to re-establish contact with him now. The Ghana Revenue Authority is embarking on a distress action to mobilize revenue from defaulting companies. That is what we're bringing you. Those are the pictures you're seeing on your screen now. We are being told that 8 businesses in the Ashanti region are owing over 11 million Ghana cedis from 2013 to March 2017. And we're just hearing the names of some of the companies there. Sal Marine Engineering was one of the names that came up there. We are trying to pick from our man Prince Appiah, who is with the GRA task force. Right. He's with the GRA task force, like I was saying, and we'll be going back to him soon. But let's hear what is transpiring in Kumasi.
Once you're not here, they cannot take you around again.
Now we'll be going back to Kumasi to speak with Prince Appiah. But before that, let's talk about judgment debt. A 7-member Supreme Court panel presided over by Chief Justice Sophia Ekufu has shut down findings of sole judgment debt Commissioner Justice Yawapel, now a Supreme Court judge himself, on conclusions he reached when his commission considered the cases of Edwoyome versus AG and Sky Consult versus Ghana Post. The Supreme Court says the recommendations of the sole judgment debt commissioner sought to give interpretation to a decision of a court, and that amounted to a breach of Article 125 and 127 of the 1992 Constitution, which does not permit the decision of a court to be derogated upon or varied by any other body in Ghana except the court itself. Now, we have some more details for you, but before that, we are hearing that there is some issues concerning the Gitmo 2 on our radar. Let's the Gitmo 2 detainees on our radar. Let's head over to our court correspondent, Joseph Akable. He's standing by at the court. Joseph, if you can hear me, what's the latest we are picking concerning the Gitmo 2 detainees?
Well, Daniel, a landmark judgment coming from the Supreme Court here. The Supreme Court, by majority decision, has described as unconstitutional the decision by then President John Dramani Mahama to accept into the country 2 ex-Guantanamo Bay detainees. Now, this action was initiated in the court by Henry Nana Boakye and Margaret Bamfo following the 2 gentlemen being brought into the country. Their argument was in simple terms hinged on Article 75 of the 1992 Constitution, which states that indeed the president of the country can enter into international agreements on behalf of the country. But the second part of that provision indicates that such agreement must be ratified by Parliament. So those were the arguments in court. But the argument by the Attorney General's lawyers defending the state was that the agreement entered into by government of Ghana and the government of the United States of America was such that the agreement did not require parliamentary approval, for which reason they didn't send it to Parliament for that ratification. But in the majority decision, 6-1 majority decision, Judge Justice Atuguba dissenting, and the judgment read by Justice Sophia Ekufu, the court is saying that the government ought to have sent the agreement to Parliament. The court held that our constitution does not make difference with regards to international agreements, such that some may go to Parliament and others may not go. It is clear that all of such agreements need to go to Parliament. And Daniel, here's where it is getting interesting. The orders coming from the court direct that within 3 months, the government of Ghana is supposed to send this agreement to Parliament for ratification. Failure to do that, with which the 2 gentlemen need to be sent back to where they were brought from, Daniel.
Right. Thank you very much for that update, Joseph Akable. Now, tell us about the judgment debt case that the Supreme Court has been sitting on. What's the latest on that one?
Well, with regards to that, we all recall that judgment debt commission was set up by President Mahama somewhere in 2012. Essentially, it was to interrogate some judgment debts that have been paid and make some recommendations when necessary. Now, that report pronounced on 2 cases. One has to do with Alfred Agbesiwoyeme versus Attorney General and 2 others, and the other being Sky Consult. And in the comments of the sole commissioner who chaired that commission, it indicated that indeed the judges erred in some of those judgments. It criticized the judges and in fact declared some of the rulings coming from the court as null and void. Now, the argument by the plaintiffs, led by Claude Opon, who initiated the action before the court, was that the independence of the judiciary is clearly spelled out under Article 125 of the Constitution, and that if there is any decision emanating from any judicial body, for it to be set aside as null and void, the order must come from a higher judicial body and not an organization or an agency or any form of commission of inquiry set up by the executive. In this case, you recall the Judgment Death Commission was set up by the executive, led by President John Dramani Mahama. So the court is saying that those aspects of the recommendation that sought to annul decisions of the court, it has been expunged, declared as unconstitutional and of no value going forward. So that is the big decision coming from the Supreme Court again with regards to this particular case, Daniel.
Right, thank you very much, Joseph Akable, for that update. Let's take you back to Kumasi. Aman Prince Apia, like I said, is with the GRA task force, which is embarking on a distress action to reclaim money from companies who are not paying tax. Prince, if you can hear me, you were going through earlier the number of companies, the 8 companies who are defaulting.
Yeah, that's it. 8 companies, as I said, have defaulted back to a tune of about 11 billion. As I said earlier, 4 of these companies owe about 10 million Ghana cedis. More than
Right. We have to apologize for the poor quality of that call. We would do our best to bring you that update. Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration says it has launched a full-scale investigation to unravel circumstances under which a notorious Nigerian kidnapping kingpin fraudulently acquired a Ghanaian passport for himself and some members of his immediate family. A Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Charles Oredu, in an interview with JoyNews stated all those found culpable in the issuance of the passports will be made to face the full rigors of the law. Mr. Oredu believes a proper national identification system as promised by the Akufo-Addo-led government is the surest way to seal the loopholes in the passport acquisition process.
Document. We are with the national security. We spoke to the police yesterday and they are launching investigation. Like I said, we had officers at the passport office. People would have to sign off somewhere. So I've listed all the agencies. I've listed all the officers. So the particular officers who worked on this matter will be brought to book. So it's already in motion. The investigations are already in motion. But in the long term, we are looking, the government the government of the day, the NPP government is looking at launching the national ID system, because this will curb the long-term solution is the national ID system. Because if you have the national ID, Ghana, we don't have any ID. But go across the world, even on this continent, in Africa, people have national identification. So if you want to get a passport, if you want to apply for a passport, you don't have to attach any birth certificate again. You only attach a copy of your national ID. Then that's all. So incident or a possibility of people, faking or forging birth certificate will not even arise after September when this system is launched. So this will be a solution to curb the numerous instances that we've had, of people conniving, to produce birth certificates. So trust me, when this is done in September, we've said we committed ourselves to this, under President Akufo-Addo. We said we're going to do this. The Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, is on top of this. He's in charge of this national ID system with the ID Secretariat. So by September, when this is launched, we're going to make sure that every Ghanaian, who is registered, who have access to the national ID, then we'll use this as the form of identification. Then we'll try and, curb some of these instances. Of course, it's the same Ghanaians. It's your brother, my brother, your schoolmate, your sibling, who is going to sit somewhere and complete somebody's application, to be given the national ID. We would have to sensitize ourselves, because if we don't do the right thing and we do the wrong thing, these are some of the instances that will happen. But of course, we need to also put in some internal mechanisms so that if somebody even is crooked, if somebody connives with an applicant, to get a document that a person is not required to get, there ought to be an internal mechanism to cross-check, to validate whether the application, whether the authentication that has been made is genuine or not.
Now, the Narcotics Control Board, NARCOP, in collaboration with its various agencies, will today destroy narcotic drugs seized from various dealers and syndicates. The drugs, estimated at $2 million, include about 20 kilograms of cocaine and 500 kilograms of cannabis sativa. Deputy Executive Director of the Narcotics Control Board, Michael Addo, gave further details about the destruction process when he spoke to Bernice Abubedu on News Desk.
We have about 500 kilograms of cannabis. We have some amount of cocaine. We have about 20 kg of cocaine. We have other drugs in various quantities.
Now, can you briefly tell us, we know these drugs were seized from some individuals and syndicates, but do you mind sharing with us any, for example, notable individuals or any of the arrests that's already in the news and how they were seized?
I would not be able to mention names of particular people, but there are many. Some of them were even seized as far back as 2005, 2004, 2006. Some of them, the culprits have been sentenced. Some of them have even finished with their sentences.
Okay.
Some of them, when the case was ongoing, they died.
Okay.
So these are drugs that we have applied to the court that we don't have need for them again because the cases are over, and then they should give us the permission to destroy them.
All right.
That is what
all right, Mr. Addo, NARCOP, per court order, donated some confiscated items of Nayeli Ametefe to three rehab centers yesterday. Now, these drugs being destroyed, you just told us, should cost about $2 million. Now, why couldn't these drugs be donated or maybe sold to pharmaceutical or cosmetic companies so the state can earn some money?
These are drugs that cannot be used by the pharmaceutical industry. The way they prepare or manufacture cocaine is such that you cannot use it for any other purpose. It is only for consumption by those who consume drugs. These are not pharmaceutical drugs. They are narcotic drugs, and they are banned drugs, which must be destroyed. So all these things are going to be burnt with fire. That is what the court has given order for us to do. It wasn't wise for us to destroy property like that which we gave out yesterday. But for the drugs which, if entered into human beings, will harm them, we will need to destroy.
Deputy Executive Director of NARCOP, Michael Addo. Let's now go to Bondaze, here in the Greater Accra region. Our reporter, Patricia Gasu, has joined us on the line from there. Patricia, what can you report from Bondaze?
Okay, we got to Bondaze not long ago. It's the Bondaze training camp where the Narcotics Control Board will be destroying some large quantities of narcotic drugs, which has been in their custody for the past 14 years. That is dating back to 2003, and then some of the drugs are made up of Indian hemp, heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, and crack, and many others. As I said, some dates back to as far back as 2003, and it all depends on the time the case is dealt with. Like, for instance, with the Nayeli case, the court will have to give an order before they can go ahead to destroy it or donate it. So we are at the Bondaze training camp, and the truck is offloading into the bush so they could send it. But before that, we have some scientists, or should I say medical practitioners here, who have to test the quality of the drug before they burn it to make sure that none of it is fake. We have police personnel and some military officers here to make sure or will ensure that everything is burnt into ashes. So the team of officers, which is led by the Deputy Executive Secretary, that is Michael Addo, for NARCOP, are all here.
Patricia, so you were saying that there are medical personnel there. Have they ensured that the site where these things are being burnt is far away enough from any residency so the fumes don't pollute the environment?
Yes. Yeah. The Pondase is a place beyond Tema. It's far, very far. It's in the bush. It's a secluded area. And we're just going to burn this. They're going to burn the stuff. So I'm not. There are no communities here. It's a military camp. I think the train here. I can see lots of them here, but they are far away from where we are burning the things.
Right. Thank you very much, Patricia Gasu, for that report. Now, some kingmakers in the eastern region town of Apapim have fled their homes for fears of being attacked by macho men from the rank of the newly installed Paramount Chief Nana Yao Dakwa. The kingmakers claim well-built men have taken over the town to ward off any opposition towards the new chief Nana Yao Dakwa. Speaking to JoyNews earlier on News Desk, one of the kingmakers belonging to the faction of the first chief Nano Poku Menta said their presence in the town is causing residents to live in fear. He added he has since Monday not been able to sleep in his own house after the installation. He calls for the assistance of police and the president to restore order.
Okay.
The installed parallel chief, Nana Yao Dakwa, has brought some well-built men to the town. They are guarding the palace now. Every evening, we hear gunshots. I'm unable to sleep in my house. I've not been personally attacked, but I've received a lot of messages and advice asking me not to sleep in my house and take care of myself very well. We had a press conference on Sunday about this matter. A reporter to the Chiri police station. Since then, no one has visited the town to check up on us. Do they want to see bloodshed before they come? Since our press conference, everyone knows about this issue, but no one has come here. We don't have any police station in Apapim. Everyone is scared. We want the president to know we're unhappy about what is happening here.
Time now for business with Emmanuel Abuaje. We'll take a short break first.